Hey, welcome to the X3 show. This is the show with one topic and three pundits, myself included. I'm John C. Dvorak. I'm here with Andrew Eisner and Joe Engo. And we're going to discuss a little bit about the HP, kind of it's a dilemma for their printers. There's a hacker story that's floating around. I think MSNBC broke this story based on some research done at Columbia. You can also read a column in PC Magazine that I wrote with my opinion. But essentially what they discovered is that it's apparently easy enough to hack the firmware upgrade module in certain printers, and you just send it a
with the print job.
Right, and it just says with the print job goes in. It says, "Hey, I'm now
load some new code.
I'm doing this now," and it becomes like it decides. The code is malignant and or mal. I don't know what it is. What the word would be for it. It's not a good piece of code, and so it decides to turn on the laser on the laser printer fuser and just heat it up until the whole printer catches on fire. Yeah. Now HP has come out and said that this is bull. The worst that can happen is that it starts to smolder.
Only smolder.
So it only smolders. It doesn't catch on fire necessarily. So I decided that these kind of inline upgrades, in other words, you take a product, instead of like in the olden days before you could do this so easily on the internet, you'd sell a product that was done. You hear it's a printer, you buy the printer works, and maybe it has a minor bug that you can work around. But nowadays they send out a buggy product knowing full well that they don't have to worry about it because they can upgrade in the field, and so they send the code in, and next thing you know it works a little better until a year later the thing is perfect. But this seems to me to be a disaster waiting to happen.
Oh yeah, totally. I totally agree.
Because people can go in and essentially remove the code and put and my comment is that what happens if this starts happening to these little cheap routers that we're buying? Because they're all field upgradable. My Netgear router is always saying, would you like to see if there's a new, something new out there for your, to upgrade the firmware?
Yeah, because let's say, for example, they get in there and then they change the DNS settings to point to a rogue DNS server, and then now they're downloading the firmware from a rogue site. Then now that every single one of those routers is now participating in a DOS attack.
Right.
That could be extremely crippling.
Yeah. Right, and it could also open a back door to your whole system, and someone could just log in and start being on your network and look over what you're doing very easily.
Yeah, set up a DMZ from a specific IP that will just open up everything directly to a machine.
I think you've got a good point. I mean, in the case of the printer, I think it is a little over-sensationalized because they say there is, this thermal detector that'll shut down the fuser in case it overheats. It'll only smolder, I guess. But and there are firewalls to protect, intrusions into your home or office. So, maybe it was a little over-sensationalized, but I think you're actually, right on with all these inline upgrades and.
Well, what if somebody changes out the firmware? So no matter what you print, it ends up printing Goatsy instead.
Well.
I mean, think about how bad that would be in an office environment.
Yeah.
Well, that'd be funny.
It would be hysterical, but. Yeah. I mean, that's a very real
possibility. So what can be done? I mean, there's too late to turn back because these things have been sold as features.
Well, I mean, those particular devices are not much you could do, but I mean, going forward, they're going to have to come up with a better mechanism for it.
Well, either that or go back to the olden days, which is take the stuff so it can't, you buy a product, it's done. It's all in hardware. There's no way of changing
that'll never happen because then, it'll take them longer to actually release a product.
I mean, look, they've been doing this too. I mean, you remember upgrading your BIOS too? I mean, look, it used to do that go to the Dell site or whatever and download a new BIOS.
Yeah, you noticed that stopped. When's the last time you upgraded a BIOS?
That's true, not for a while. But
I don't remember doing it at all.
Yeah. Well, if you own a Mac, it updates the FI every once in a while.
Does it?
Mm-hmm.
So I guess the solution is to have, trusted sources or something, and some signatures.
It's not possible.
No. Okay.
I think we're doomed.
Okay.
I think we're going to be all compromised. It's the end of the world.
Yeah. There'll be printers blowing up left and right.
Printers on fire.
Cell phones exploding.
People hacking your system.
Right. Cars. Is Chevy Volt.
Car come through the door.
I'm sure the Chevy Volt is vulnerable.
Yeah.
to hacking.
Chevy Volt is now General Motors has decided
Well-
they'll loan you a car now if you have a Volt. You need it.
Right. What kind of car?
Well,
they
but
gonna loan
that
you?
is a good thing though. You know, if somebody does find a way to get a rogue firmware inside of a car, they can cause the charging mechanism to charge too fast and cause the batteries to explode.
Yeah. I mean, this has been going on. I mean, look at just that water plant and
they turned it on and off, on and off real fast.
and remember, an insulin pump story went around a few years ago. Somebody was hacking an insulin pump for. So I mean, there are bad people in the world want to do bad things, and very little ways to protect against it. I think you're right.
So we're all
doomed.
We're all doomed.
We're doomed.
A panel of pessimists.
There you go. Only here on X3. You've been watching X3.